Welcome back to the OCS. I just had a delicious chocolate chip cookie.
I had a, I think it was like a chocolate, not chocolate chip, like the chocolate cream one. It was nice.
Chocolate cream. What? Oh, like between, like
Yeah,
a...
yeah. It's like the Anzac biscuit, chocolate Anzac biscuit.
Oh, Anzac Bickies. My birthday's actually on Anzac Day. Anzac Bickies, PogChamp. Ooh. Absolute banger. This game, though, potentially PogChamp as well. Bottom of the table, we've seen a bunch of the top teams facing off. This is going to be UQU versus UTS. Say it every week. UTS, they need a bloody victory. I'm hanging out for them.
This is their best chance. This is their best chance against UQU, who are my team.
Yeah.
Being,
how you feeling?
I'm feeling trepid. I've wagered this on it. So normally that's a sign of confidence.
Yeah.
But I didn't really wager it with anyone. My plan was to try and get Vandy involved. She didn't respond to me.
Oh, you got
brokenhearted. Ouch. Nah, she's just afraid. She's just afraid. But yeah, I said if UQ loses, the beard's gone.
Okay.
And I'm going to stick with that.
How attached to you are the beard? So that was just not English. How attached to you, to your beard?
I think I like it. It helps me stand out.
Yeah, okay.
But at the same time,
that's
I think
a good answer. If you said like not very, I'm just like, what's the point?
No, I
made a bet
attached to it.
with no one.
I made a bet with no one to shave my beard that I'm going to shave anyways in a week. Yeah, no, I'm quite attached to it. I think it's a good look.
Yeah.
I'd be sad to see it go, but I think the hotel where I sometimes work would be very happy to see it go. So
what's the time frame? How long does it have to stay off? Because I feel like you're not going to wager facial hair for life. On this game. Well, what is it, like a month maybe? You're going to go with that?
I'd say until MEO.
Oh, okay. That's actually really good. I like that one.
Until
Damn,
MEO.
smarts. Yeah, okay. I'll see you there and I'll double check. Are you coming?
I will. Yeah, I'm coming because of
Hell yeah.
HSCL, the high school league finals.
Okay.
I will be there.
Yeah, everyone at home, you should come to OPL.
Yeah.
OPL, MEO.
Well, OPL, come to MEO.
Yeah.
Watch high school and OPL.
Yeah, that's an absolute banger.
A lot of league that day.
I also, what was it? There was the high school game before League of Origin. That was super cool. It was like Minky Whale versus Christmas Trees, I think. It was like an Adelaide Crows versus like a Bombers thing. That's PogChamp. And then I see this guy. I always see him in solo queue. He's like high elo solo queue on one team. And then there was this other guy who I don't think had ever played the game before.
Oh no!
And it was exactly what you expected.
You get matches like that in high school.
You were just like, oh no, that was the response.
There was one team in the Queensland League. I forget which school it was, so I can't call them out specifically. But there's one like high diamond player and 4 people who have never played the game before.
Yeah.
And because it's like a
like
Swiss bracket sort of deal, so like if you win, you play against other teams, and when you lose other teams, you lose. They were in the bottom half because a bunch of new players. So it just turned into this Riven one trick, getting Riven every game, going like 46-0-0 and losing.
That's cool. I like that.
It was fun. It was fun to go back and watch like the replays of that game. Just like watching this guy just pop it off.
What's a Swiss bracket?
That's what they use in like card games. In that, so it's like if you win, you go up against the other teams that win. Actually, wait, is that Swiss right? I think the Swiss is right. Yeah.
I'm not debating you.
No, I'm trying to remember. I think it's when you win, you go up against the other winners. When you lose, you go up against the other losers. There's a set amount of rounds.
Yeah,
and that's what they usually use before cutting
so it's like
to like the top 8.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a game of averages, sort of thing. Like it's not about like the one thing. It's about like you on average. Yeah, you keep performing, and then okay. Yeah, cool. That's not what we run here on the OCS because we've only got 8 teams, of course. Top 6. Oh, we actually have 12 teams. Top 6 progress halfway through. First 2 seeds get a bye to the semi-finals. Single elimination. That'll just be a couple of weeks away, but this is going to be the Purple Boys UQ Union versus the Boys in Blue UTS. Karma and Siva first bands away. Get rid of the boring stuff.
Yep.
Give me the Kiana. Give me the Mordekaiser. It's insane how little like the Mordekaiser was like. In fact, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, damn, first game of Mordekaiser, let's go. It was just like the game was
against
won.
Amundo.
Yeah, it was against Amundo. There was like moments, but it like wasn't the Mordekaiser that like swung the game.
I want to see Hypercarry Mundo. Or, sorry, Hypercarry Mordekaiser and Hypercarry Mundo. I want to see them both. I remember at the very start of OCS I was talking about I want to see some Jungle Mundo. Riot, you're normally a mid laner. Now you're in Jungle. Let's bust out that Jungle Mundo.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's actually something to hit on right now. Riot has spent the entire split playing mid lane for UQ Union is actually being shoved into the jungle here for this game, so they won't have Candyman on their lineup this time. That means Lantern is coming in, so potential weakness to point towards there. UTS, are they able to exploit that one? Third band's coming through. Sona's going to be the hit on there for UQ Union, a pair with Sejuani and Siva. UTS, they have some thinking to do. There's like the Silas we've seen the first pick of today. There is the Mordekaiser. There is the Kiana we've seen banned away. There's the Lux. all of these super big priorities to play with and
they have
some choices to make.
I feel like they have to ban the Mordekaiser here, otherwise they'll be giving it over. There is the Mordekaiser ban, so that does open up the Lux, that does open up the Aurelius ban. So it does open up the Lux. It opens up the Sylas as well, so Sylas will be taken, and that makes sense if that's going to be a jungle Sylas with Riot.
Yeah. Played Sylas before in the solo lane, picked that one up, probably very comfortable on the champion, which makes blending into another role just that little bit easier. I'm very surprised that we saw Lisa play Rammus today and it wasn't Yele. Out of all the players in the OPL to pick up like Rammus, he was going to be the guy. But it was not the case. Aatrox's going to be the lock-in here. Both of these guys going for flexible early round picks. Makes a lot of sense. Very strong start to this draft so far.
Is Sylas still flexible? I'm pretty sure he's kind of just become a jungle now.
Like, yes.
But then again, this is OCS and we're seeing everything everywhere.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, right? Like, he is, like, I reckon he can still, like, in specific matchups. Like, the problem with Sylas was that he was first pick because it's just like, I'm really good. My bad matchups aren't that bad. And now it's like, okay, like, I'm not that good, but my bad, like, your good matchups are probably still fine, right? Like, they're not the best, but, like, you lost a significant amount of power. But if it comes to it, like, it is at the end of the day flexible, which is what, like, early drafting is all about. It's like, if you have the opportunity to pivot, like, that is always a good thing, especially on blue side, because you don't get a lot of options, right? So, like, yes, probably 99.5% will be going into the jungle pool, but still can make some choices. That would be a lock-in. Pike into the Lux. Super spicy one down there for Kimchi, but goes more standard in the Thresh. Yep,
Thresh. Kaisa lane has been a pretty strong lane, I feel. Should be good once again today. I think UQU is happy to have that Thresh. We've seen a lot of good Thresh play. Can Kimchi live up to it? Caitlyn finally will be getting locked in. So that's the first Kate we've seen today.
Yeah, it is. Has seen some bans. Kate Lux, of course, is kind of the premier Lux lane that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, as she did kind of sit at the height of the meta. So see how Cadence and Frolic can go along with that one. The only remaining members of the first 5 that started playing for UTS, they've completely changed their top side of the map, but still remaining on the roster, standing strong.
Yep, that is as we get into our second ban's Yasuo. Kind of surprised to see that one banned away from Nightfaller, is the one who I believe has been playing Yasuo for UQU. Morgana, first time her face has been seen.
Yeah, very interesting ban. Maybe, yeah, okay, because it's obviously not Morgana support. I mean, I guess it could be, like Lux can go places, but most likely thrown towards Peekaboo in the mid lane, but that does mean that maybe they have something weird planned further on in the draft.
Yeah, maybe it's a case of scouting out something that UTS likes with the Lux Morgana combo. Renekton going to be taken away from Nightfaller, so a lot of top lane bans being focused at UQU in this time around.
Which is also interesting as well, because like we don't know much about Lanson, to be honest. Like they're like seen very few and far between the games that he's played here for UQ Union. I believe second or third time. They've been without Candyman for a couple of weeks here and there, but yeah, is a bit of an unknown factor somewhat coming into this one. Elise is going to be the final ban targeted at Yele, so getting rid of the Spider Queen. She has been kind of rising into popularity fairly recently and is super oppressive. She gets ahead when you already have a lane like the Lux, like the Caitlyn. Does make a lot of sense to ban that one away.
But Yumi is still available and will get not locked in. Nico is the one who gets locked in. I got their names confused. They're both cute little animal things. They're each wilds. Close enough. Something I want to bring
Neither of them are in the game. Like, you said they're each wilds? Like, neither of them are in TFT. They don't even exist.
They would be wilds.
Would
Actually,
they?
Would Yumi?
I feel like Nico would be an elementalist.
Really? You could be. Can't you be a wild elementalist?
Yeah, that doesn't exist. Oh, she'd be a shapeshifter. Production is so smart.
Yeah.
I hate that they don't have to sit here and speak on camera. Let's give them a microphone. They have to do it on the spot. How about that?
Anyways, point I wanted to make right now, though, I think UQ has a lot of faith in Lanson because Riot has been their most consistent performer on the team. And they're, you know what? We're going to put him jungle off of his main role because we think this Lanson guy is good. That is what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Or it's a case of Riot's been our most consistent.
Or it is a case of, like, who can play jungle? Guys, who can play jungle? We really need a jungler. So who knows? I can't remember. I actually can't remember, like, when Candyman subbed out, like, weeks ago, if Riot filled that role or if they had another jungler lined up.
I believe they had another jungler.
Yeah, because I think this is the first time we are seeing him in the jungle. Interestingly, Nightfaller is actually going to lock in the Ornn, the second one of the day. I guess if it does go to his hands. Of course, it is the OCS, so the order that they're in Champ Select isn't necessarily the champions they are going to be playing. Lucian was also the other very interesting lock-in. Pairing that with the Kai'Sa there means that he isn't going into the bottom lane, and Nico in the hands of Peekaboo is going to be answered by an Ignite Gunslinger.
Yep, Ignite Gunslinger. I'm very curious about UQ Union's draft right now. I feel Lucian mid lane is not something we've seen in a while.
No. Was like last seen as like a Galio answer, I think, because it was like very easy, like dash for dash, so Galio just gets outranged permanently, and it's a very difficult matchup, but I feel like you want something to be able to deal with Nico at range. The Ignite choice early means that they probably are putting significant things into Lansen's basket, as you were kind of talking about. Playing through bottom side into the Lux Caitlyn, very difficult. Can be done. If Kimchi is just nutty and lands tons of hooks, it's like, you know what I mean? If you pick a hook champ and land hooks, like, yes, you win. But it's very difficult to engineer those situations. At the top level, you definitely shouldn't just be getting hit randomly here and there by hooks throughout the laning phase. So,
well, fingers crossed then for UTS, because they will need to avoid said hooks. I'm just thinking more back for where UQ is at right now. We're having a new mid laner come in, and his first pick in play is going to be Lucian on the main stage. So that is a bold statement in and of itself.
I like it.
I like it as well. I also like UTS's team composition a bit more. I think it's a lot more conventional. I think they got a lot of strong power picks as well. Finally seeing the Caitlyn locked in and secured. The Nico as well. It's been strong showings throughout the day. Same with Lee Sin, same with Aatrox. Like, UTS is just 5 strong picks.
Yeah, 100%. Like, they have power picks, and then their also comp is cohesive for a number of reasons. Like, they have safe solo lanes to be able to play towards this Caitlyn Lux bottom side of the map, but also as it scales, like, I'm liking Nico more and more as a disengage option for Caitlyn comps. Like, she facilitates incredibly well, because all of a sudden you don't have, like, I guess, in theory, like 2 Lux bindings. I'm like claiming like the Nico route is like another Lux binding, right? To be able to trap off and just sit there sieging underneath the turret. Like, you have double to worry about, but then also if teams, which most often they do, want to hard force on a Caitlyn comp, like the Nico Pop Blossom is just incredibly useful, whether it be in the support, whether it be in the mid lane or the top lane role. It's kind of doesn't really matter, I guess. It's based on the matchups individually, but cohesively works incredibly well.
Super, super good luck for Farmer right there. Catches the entire of UTS kind of making a way as 5 along that bot side.
If they went a different way, if they went down Dragon and were hugging the wall, like, instead of being like, wow, like, so lucky, like, he just face checks. He face checks 5 people.
So that's a good little break right there for UQU. As a response, they do get that deeper ward in. This makes me very happy. Again, Iron to Gold tournaments, a lot of times teams will move as 5 and look to invade, and there will be no response from the other team. In fact, usually it works and you just give up a first blood because someone's standing in the bush and stands there until all 5 show up. But I like the quick response of UQU. They get that vision in, so junglers will be tracked. However, UTS did get a ward as well, right by the Raptors. So sort of even warding for both sides of peace, despite the 5-man start.
Yeah, we saw something similar last game where everybody will know what's going on in the early levels. Of course, Lee Sin once again, slightly quicker at farming his jungle than the Silas, even with the bottom lane leash as opposed to the top side. So see how this one really does phase out. We are looking at UTS to make things happen earlier through this bottom lane. Like, it's 2 minutes into the game. They've farmed literally a creep right now, but I expect that Lee Sin is starting top side purely so he can kind of path down here. He wants to open up the mid lane and then kind of grant access furthermore towards the bottom side of the map to open up space for Cadence and Frolic to work their magic down there. Of course, there are a couple of options in a Lux lane. Has gone for the Aftershock to kind of keep herself alive. That makes sense when you are going up against a Thresh. That's a hook. That's
a hook and a flash already out of Cadence. We are talking about how, you know, you can't get hit by those random hooks. Well, 1 for 1 for Kimchi.
Yeah, 100%. And that's just disrespect. It's level 2 to level 1. Caitlyn Lux just walk up and standing in hook range of the bush. Kimchi walks up, hits him with the hook in the head, and that's a flash burn very early, so summoner advantage going over to the Thresh. Oh, that was very close.
Kimchi almost keeping that 100% hit rate alive there, just missing Frolic. As, another good binding right there as well out of Frolic, but Farmer should be okay.
Should be. Lee Sin on the blue buff right now, and of course it's not the full clear coming through from the Silas, so He's actually down here now on the bottom side, probably looking towards his golems. Won't get access to a crab if Lee then parts away, but certainly is looking to defend his bottom lane, looking to maybe get this wave in. Precarious position right now, given that they know where Yele started. They haven't had vision on him for a couple of minutes, so you do kind of have to expect that he's parked down here for this exact reason, and that is actually a wraparound gank. Riot, I don't think is going to spot him if he walks in straight away, and he is in behind.
Farmer's already at half health as well. The Aura Sphere connects onto the Thresh, however. A defensive flash out of Kimchi keeps him alive. Riot has rejoined the fight. Yeli is super low as well. Riot's going to try and find his way there. Cadence, though, turning it around onto Farmer. Here comes the TP out of Midas as well as, oh, poor Riot is in too deep. Farmer low as well. A follow-up flash from Midas gets that kill. He's going under the tower. The Flay kind of holds him in place. Will walk away. 2 kills for UTS.
And UTS, they spend the TP after Frolic lands back-to-back double stuns onto multiple people. Secures that kill. That's every summoner blown from the Union's bottom side of the map, and they just walk away with everything. Yes, they burn a TP, but very, very nice punish. Get a nice little plating off the back end of that play, and incredibly worthwhile for this bottom lane that started rough, right? Caitlyn already burnt the flash, and you're like, that's not a situation you want to be in as the Caitlyn. You want to be the aggressor in this matchup, but it's completely turned that one around.
Yeah, it was a huge turnaround for UTS, and this is the start that they were hoping for. Could it be that it's time for UTS? Could it be the red buff on the red side, I should say? The red side power buff. UTS, with that great start, it could have been red buff as well. A lot of things helping out.
Yeah.
I feel, though, we're not quite out of the woods yet for UQ. Obviously, you know, game's still early, and if we're looking at this mid lane, things kind of be going Lanson's way, actually, over Peekaboo.
Yeah, actually getting some nice trades. I feel like level 6, it probably does swing a little bit. Of course, has gone for the press of the attack, as you expect there for the Lucian, but once you get towards his Cutlass ASAP, has been the aggressor more often than not. It's like a dash forward to the side a little bit, like playing on that diagonal to avoid the straight-up route in, like, just the straight line. If you go front to back, then very easy for Peekaboo to deal with you, but is looking to continue that pressure as time goes on. This wave is just shoving very quickly into UTS's side. Probably not anymore after they AoE it down, so not looking to hold any sort of freeze with the jungler rotating, given that his red buff is up on the top side of the map.
Yeah, but still, though,
Riot's
he will get spotted. Death Sentence does not connect, so Riot turns away. Farmer unable to follow up. Good sidestep of the Luminous Binding. Keeps Kimchi safe, at least for now. You can see UQU was willing to invest a lot into that play. Like, Lanson as well was roaming down. They really wanted to make something happen.
Yeah, floating down towards the play, always a good idea. You see the danger in this sort of matchup is that what you just saw, if the Binding does connect, then it's a trap, then it's a Caitlyn Q, it's a Caitlyn crit, it's a Caitlyn net into another crit in the head. So, yes, Kimchi looks for it, but having those numbers floating down kind of removes the ability for a counter-attack if you miss, right? Like the fact that Riot did show they were continuing to walk away.
Yep, that is what they're showing right now. But as a result of that pressure as well, and more likely the back off of said pressure, already Yeli is looking to be starting this this Mountain Drake, dragging it out. So he should be looking at it potentially uncontested with the Vision Ward placed there. Won't be spotted. Riot more concerned with getting his red buff. In fact, even bot lane roaming up to help deal with it. And an invade a bit attempt as well, perhaps. Yeah, this is going to be an easily secured dragon for UTS.
Yep, very nicely played. They have the priority in both the lanes. It's very difficult for Riot to contest if he knew what was going on. May have had an idea, but absolutely, or I should say no knowledge absolutely of what is happening until the audio cue comes through. So Mountain Dragon picked up is nice from UTS. Certainly what you want to be seeing for a Caitlyn comp is probably the premier dragon of choice. As you mentioned, is just taking his red buff, now pathing up towards top side. Not much has really happened. It is an Ornn versus an Aatrox. You expect the Aatrox to have priority and just look to be pressuring up there, as he has so far. But Ornn, one of the best tanks, at just kind of holding fast, gets to buy items without resetting and sitting there very defensively. Very difficult to dive without jungle threat. And as we've seen, all of the jungle threat this game is gone towards the bottom lane.
Yeah, all of it really from both sides of the jungles as well. Like, everyone has wanted to make those plays on the bot side of the map, at least at the moment. That said, once again, Lanson kind of roaming towards the top side, but there is a Vision Ward in the bush. Nightfaller will be able to find it in the bush. And it will be cleared out right there.
Sorry.
I wasn't expecting that much of a reaction from you off of that one.
It's just so stupid. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just... Look, it happens. It happens to me all the time. I've said much worse on this broadcast, but... Oh.
Oh. Max range does connect the follow-up play under the tower. Forces out the flash out of Cadence. Ignite has been dropped as well. He has some help, though, from Yaley, who's coming around through the bush. Connects with the Orb Sphere, and Kimchi will just get obliterated.
Disastrous turnaround. They get the hook into the Caitlyn without a wave present. The Flay actually takes that one down, so they had turret damage to boot, and doesn't know Yaley is around. Cops a Sonic Wave to the face. Not to mention the kick as well. So Kimchi, after landing a very nice hook, actually loses his life, and Caitlyn Lux doing Caitlyn Lux things as soon as they have an opportunity to hit the turret, and that's at about half HP at 9 minutes into this one.
And with that UTS, I feel this is like the strongest lead that they have had possibly in this tournament. I think they've had a couple good starts
in the last couple of weeks, I would say. I don't know about collectively.
But still, when you haven't won a game and you have a solid 3-kill lead in the first 10 minutes, you have to be feeling, okay, maybe this is the one. This is the chime. UTS trying to make it happen.
Yeah, like this is like ticking all the boxes, right? Like Caitlyn Lux are now ahead in lane. They have the BF, they almost have their completed first item. They already have a dragon, and it's probably the best one they could have looked for, right? The other lanes are stable. Small CS lead-ish there for the Nico. Equilibrium basically in the top side as Aatrox is just building towards his items, and your jungler is ahead. So everything kind of being hit on that they want. Small-ish gold lead fairly early. Pre-10 minutes, 2,000 is probably nothing to scoff at, but not game-winning by any means. They really need to continue this pressure with the Caitlyn. Interesting flip coming out from UQU Union. Not wanting the straight-up 2v2 matchup anymore. Maybe looking at it like the Summoner disadvantage where they have the cleanse as opposed to like the heal or something like that, but Caitlyn's aren't up, so it is a kind of a curious flip, maybe trying to play on top of the tempo and maybe get a Rift Herald, but UTS just going to go straight up for the walk. Normally you see the support deploy to the other side of the map and then walk to the AD carry, but Frolic definitely wears the pants in this bottom lane.
And because of the walk as well, it does sort of stop situations just like this. Good Luminous Binding connecting onto Kimchi, but no further up engage from Yeely, who's more caught up with Krugs. That said, though, Farmer has to be careful right now. There are 3 members of UTS here. Good sidestep of the Death Sentence. Lantern will come down and save Farmer for now. Meanwhile, bit of action with Yaley and Riot. Forces out to teleport. Midas will be there. A defensive flash from Yaley keeps him alive, but his health bar is low. He can't follow up. That's actually Peekaboo who teleported in.
And Nightfall actually started channeling TP, and that could have been a kill there for UTS, but Midas cancels it immediately. Top lane reflexes, sees that one, and chops down the Summoner, so TP kind of won a piece there, given that UTS actually have double. Still maintain their top lane as well.
Riot was spotted out actually by the Rift Herald, it looked like.
Went on a recon mission.
Yeah.
Found himself a Silas.
That said, though, Yaley, and that's actually Nico who's walking on back, so Peekaboo not going to commit for anything crazy. Riot in the area as well, as this line of scrimmage has kind of been pushed around this Rift Herald. I think this is a lot of pressure like for this objective that I'm not sure either team really feels willing to commit for.
Yeah.
Oh, Yaley!
Okay.
What happened there?
2 HP. Riot got the better of him. Still has the Dragon's Rage as well. Frolic knows where he is, but...
Binding's there, but you have Lance in behind. Riot, though, already so low, looking to still try and front line this. They get the kill on Frolic. Midas has teleported on the backside. Peekaboo as well. There gets 2 with the Pop Blossom. It's Kimchi. Uses the stopwatch to buy some time. Farmer in that backline trying to get some autos down onto Midas, but can't do much as Midas is able to rush down Lanson. Health bar is low. Lanson falls down. Farmer stays alive too long. He will die. Riot as well trying to get that re-engage. Falls as well. 4 kills for UTS.
And UTS lose absolutely nothing. The Triumph procs coming through for the Aatrox on 2 HP heals it all the way back up, and this could be the game, Max. This could be the dream for UTS. Now onto the Rift Herald. Getting absolutely everything. Yes. Started with Riot, right? Like, he took Yaley down to like 2 HP, but he sticks around long enough. They commit a little bit too far. Frolic baits them all in on the Lux, and they extend way too far, get punished, and lose everything.
They lose 4 kills, they lose the Rift Herald, and they are losing control of this game. The gold lead is the only thing that hasn't really blown up yet for UQ, so it's still only a 3K differential between the 2 teams. But with Rift Herald secured with 4 kills on this Lee Sin, I imagine Yaley is going to control the tempo moving forward and really look to start taking this game over.
Yeah, 100%. 4-0-3 on the Lee Sin feels nice. Super Soaker now completed for Peekaboo. Got a very nice Pop Blossom in that last fight, and that was off the back of the map flip for UQU, right? Like, we were looking at it, it's like, okay, bottom side, they've got themselves the Dragon, the Kate Lux is doing work, that turret is about half HP, and then they flipped the map, and UTS actually decided to match. I was sitting there like, this may be a very good situation for Union. They get the jungle 1v1, looks really good. All of a sudden, all of the momentum for the Caitlyn lane has just been nullified, but a single fight goes Ori.
Midas is in trouble in the top lane as well. Midas actually might be going down. Looks like there's a tower dive happening up there as this Mountain Drake is secured. Midas does go down, so a kill was secured up top. In exchange, it's the second Mountain Dragon for UTS as UQU trying to do what they can to this tower to get a couple platings. Rift Herald, not doing too much work as the platings go away right before they're able to get another
single auto attack from the Silas would have been it, and Nightfall is just depressingly whacking away as the Ornn gets no gold for that one. A little bit unfortunate. Shelly bashes into bottom lane turret, and UTS pick up another one. Or actually,
that's
the first one. Yeah, first
That
brick.
is the first one, but they won't be able to escort Selly too much further. Does still get the charge off, though, so halfway down on that tier 2. UTS getting nice, you know, good favor after good favor, good fortune after good fortune.
And what was it, about 6 months ago that they made the change? So for Shelly, where she doesn't do 0 damage because she has 0 HP. So getting a second charge in this meta is actually incredibly valuable. Second tier turret goes fairly low there as UTS are still looking to snowball this lead out. 3,000 is the gold. A lot of their value is in the intangibles. The double mountain is super promising for a Caitlyn comp. That's exactly what you need. Less so for like the Baron control. Yes, it is super helpful, but for a chip poke composition with a Nico, with a Lux, with a Caitlyn, kind of doubles the speed with which you take down turrets and stuff like that. Yeah. A little extra auto attack every wave helps.
And with that, they're going ahead and putting Cadence in the mid lane, or at least they were until she's going to recall. Probably look to finish that Infinity Edge. So that will be a nice power spike for Cadence. Meanwhile, Nightfaller has some help from Riyadh. I'm not sure Midas is aware of this, so Midas should do the smart thing and not look to fight. Yaley making his way to the area as well, so we could be seeing a bit of 2v2 skirmish action in the top side. Yaley's going to sit in the bush, wait for Nightfaller to step up. Nightfaller being very cautious right now. Midas is the one who takes the bait. Riyadh jumps on it, but here comes Yaley. Big Ornn horn, but Midas is already low. If they get enough damage onto him, they will bring him down. The next target will be Yaley. He won't be able to run away. 2 kills for UQU.
700 gold shutdown from Yaley goes over to UQU. That's a huge gold swing for the Union guys, and I think Lee Sin, the kick came a little bit too late. Could have denied the knock-up from Ornn. Unfortunately, holds on to the cooldown, and top laner dies. All Midas needed was a reset, and that fight could have been a wash for the other side. But Union walk away with it. Kimchi and Farmer still looking to pressure this turret, but as soon as Frolic reappears, it's a very quick Lux zooming around with Mobies. You just have to respect it and back away.
Yeah, and those, 2 quick kills for UQU kind of brings them right back into this. This gold differential really is marginal right now, so I feel as if, yeah, things look good for UTS at the start, but they haven't really turned that into much of an income gain in this matchup. So UQU, another couple of picks like that, they could find themselves back in the lead of this one.
Yeah, and a lot of people look at Caitlyn comps and they talk about momentum a lot for a very good reason, right? Like, she's hit her IE spike reasonably strong, but you don't get attack speed for a very long time. Probably third item here if he does go for the Essence Reaver build, and the fact that they haven't snowballed their tempo. Tempo is a big intangible, but you kind of could just think about it as time on the map. If you're first, you probably have more options given that you are winning, and Caitlyn comps tend to win early, so you kind of snowball that increasingly. Not the case here for UTS, but Midas in trouble. Does dodge out from that one, but yeah, interesting so far. Union with that shutdown holding on very well. That's a reasonable amount of damage.
Yeah, the final spark doing a good bit of chunk onto Farmer. A lot of it, though, was negated by that Lantern, so Farmer still feels safe enough to try and clear some waves. Has to be careful, though. A bit of a flank from UTS happening right below them right now. Good sense connecting onto Peekaboo, and Kimchi is going for it. Box has been dropped. Yaley trying to get in. The culling coming down as well, but Kimchi is already dead. Riyadh on the flank gets kicked away before the Pop Blossom can connect, but he was kicked right into Cadence, who has to flash over the wall to get out. Yaley super low, gets one shot by Farmer right there. In the end, Cadence falls as well. Frolic running for their life, but that's a full health Lanson just picking up yet another kill.
And they completely turned that one around. It looked like a single kill onto Kimchi, and UTS could have just walked away, but UQU had everyone rotating down. The Ornhorn comes through, cuts off the retreat, and they want the mid turret as well. Lanson's actually on the flank here. Wraps around deep, but no wave means no real threat underneath the turret, and Peekaboo holds fast underneath this structure.
Midas does have to respond to that top lane right now, but no patience is going to be shown from Lanson this time around. They decide it is not worth it. They rather reset, and this was once like nearly a 5k gold lead, has now been reduced to about 300. So yeah. UQU, couple good fights going their way. They are back in this, and with about a minute and 20 seconds to go until Baron, fights going UQU's way. I imagine they're going to start being more aggressive in looking for these objectives.
Yeah, right. If they can get people to clump, you look at these comps and how they interact. You expect UTS to play around turrets, and you expect UQU to play around objectives, like the neutrals, the dragons, the barons.
Teleport.
This could be a contest. Ornn ulti isn't available, so the main engage tool is not there, but
Midas?
they do have a bit of a flank.
Midas did teleport in. Cloud Drake is low. It will be secured by UTS. Does UQU try to push for the fight? The answer is no this time around.
Yeah, no real ultis there for UQU. Just kind of have longer cooldowns than their counterparts in almost every role. Kai'Sa nothing, Thresh nothing, as is the or as was the Sylas, and still the Ornn. Very hard to force them off that one. Not the most important dragon. The two big ones had gone over earlier. Oh, and interestingly, it actually is going to be the Shard coming out from Cadence. So just going for the classic 80 carry build. The crit, probably IE into double Energizer, rapid fire into the Shiv or something like that. So looking for the pure DPS here in this one.
That will be interesting, and I'm curious if UTS can do a better job then of protecting Cadence than what we saw in that last fight. It was a bit unfortunate that the Yaley kicked the Pop Blossom coming out of Riot right into him. So, better, team fighting, and could work out really well for UTS. As, Cadence could be in trouble. Here comes the horn. Knockup is there, and the damage is too much. Cadence is already down. Death Sentence does not connect on the Yaley, who's looking to turn it around onto Riot. The box will buy some time, but Riot's rooted in place and will go down. Peekaboo falls as well as Yaley on low health, trying to hide under that tower. A good double Luminous Binding out of Frolic pushes UQU away.
Very deep dive from Union, but no TP from Midas means no fight to be had. A single kill for the two on UTS. They still want to break this turret. All of these fights are happening around the turret, but the wave always dies before the push. Once again, Midas is able to deal with that one as Lanson pops the Blade of the Ruin King, but does just have to walk away. So UQU, they win yet another fight. Gold lead 400. Basically nothing right now, but still unable to break this outer turret in the mid lane.
And this really is this even match that we were kind of hoping for with this matchup. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're two top teams or two bottom teams. When you're close on the standings, you expect a close matchup. So I am happy that both these teams are playing, seriously in this one, and they are each trying to win. I'm excited to see that. I mean, obviously you're always trying to win it, but I don't know. I feel as if sometimes, with those bottom teams, we're going to try something different and creative and fun, which, okay, Lucian mid probably is, but
I reckon
they're doing it well.
He's probably just a Lucian player.
Yeah.
Right? Like, as simple as that. It's just coming in. It's like, okay, I have to fill a role in a team that I haven't been playing with all split, but, like, what is open? What champs do I play? What are my best matchups? And Lucian probably just rises to the top. Did very well early. Has himself about a 30 CS lead, so performing admirably so far. Probably wanting to get his Essence Reaver completed sooner rather than later. Get towards that 2-item spike. Kai'Sa has hit it. Muramana not yet transformed, but certainly has completed the Gwynsu's as Baron is now spawning.
Baron has spawned, and UTS is first to sort of get vision up around it. Riot trying to follow suit, does get harassed a bit by Frolic, but not enough to push this Sylas away. That said, side lane pressure is also being responded to first by UTS. You can see already Midas is in that top lane, although backing away for now, is possibly looking to get the Krugs before continuing to show it up.
I think just afraid of threat, right? Like, everybody goes missing into the river, sees multiple people, and it's like, I cannot contest that wave. It's not for me. Union have some very nice vision into UTS's jungle. One of the Raptor Pit being swept out, and one up near the Aatrox. You can see Lanson dealing with the wave and looking to get that one sorted before they look to start anything up. Nightfaller, unfortunately, probably doesn't know he's standing on a ward right now. I think it did just time out, so the rubble coming through will show it. But looking for an opportunity in the mid lane.
Yeah, the opportunity, though, by UTS is being looked at possibly on the top side. There's a lot of rotations towards Lanson, but in the end, they do not commit to it just yet. Nightfaller with teleport back up, looks to be going back to the bot side to get that, possibly pushing for UQU. Maybe will lead to opening for that Baron. Final Spark taken by Riot for now, so that is the ultimate Sylas we'll be looking at. So we take a look, there's 3 Aatroxes running around. Kimchi nails one of them.
You got 3 targets. Surely you can land one.
Yeah.
And he does.
Unfortunately, it's not the correct one.
Yeah,
the correct one was going back through the jungle, actually, so...
Bit of a difficult time. Next dragon spawning very soon. As you can see, everybody kind of converging down there. It was a game of Baron control, and it has completely flipped in about the last 30 seconds. This tedious mid lane tower is still standing here for UTS. And Union have spent a whole bunch of resources thrown that way. Unfortunately, not able to take it down as of yet. Blind binding to check the bush. Ward in his face. We'll spot it out. That was a very nice laser. Yeah,
laser connects with 2. Good final spark coming out of Riot. However, though, with that down, it means he can steal something new. It's actually not going to take anything just yet. Spooky Ghost will hold UQU at bay. Yaley stepping forward. I did not connect with the Aura Sphere. The dragon should be spawning right about now, so a quick reaction. It is the 3rd Mountain Drake, so very important. If UTS gets this, this is monumental for this red side. Riot, though, connect with the Aura Sphere. They could commit on this one, and here we go. Everyone for UTS dies after him, but Riot does make escape. Here comes the Oran Horn. It only connects with 1, but the Pop Blossom does get on Peekaboo as Midas is already down. Yaley trying to dive in deep, but can't get past the front line. He will fall as well. Peekaboo, huge Pop Blossom, gets everyone, but doesn't have the damage to actually bring people down. Kimchi flashes out to get alive as Lanson is turning that damage right back around. Frolic falls as Farmer has been able to free hit, and Cadence has to run.
And Union completely rout UTS at the Dragon Pit. The 3rd one will not be theirs. Nightfall is still looking for more. Cadence knows summoners, and he knows it. The dive is on.
Dive is on. Low mana for Cadence, but Lanson doesn't want to commit to it. Instead, they're finally going to get rid of that tower that has just been standing for far too long in the eyes of UQU. Tower will go. Mountain Drake as well. UQU, again, these skirmishes are starting to go their way more so and more so.
Yeah, fighting in the chokes against the Ornn. Super rough. You saw UTS were kind of split onto 2 fronts. There was, I think it was the Nico and the Aatrox stuck very front line there. The Pop Blossom got hella value, but Yaley goes in. He dies immediately. The Cadence, the Caitlyn was kind of sitting at the back, just free hitting the entire time, but when your front line is already dead, 4 versus 2 is definitely not a situation you want to find yourselves in, and very difficult to get themselves out of that hole. So Union, they walk away with everything. The skirmish is just too good there. From the Lucian dashing around, from the Kai'Sa, they have so much more mobility, and comes up trumps.
Sesame Pig coming down to help pick up that Scuttlebug right there. So everyone from UTS did converge. They push UQU back away, and they have that crucial vision right in front of the Baron Pit. With that, I feel UTS should be looking to possibly spread out the map a bit more right now. They still have those teleports available. Peekaboo's coming up just now. Midas already on the case, trying to shove in Nightfaller, and maybe we might be seeing UTS make that Baron play.
Yeah, maybe. Bunch of vision up there. They want to set up for it, as you mentioned, but difficult to start this one off. You see Union clear this out immediately. Trap stepped on, but Caitlyn nowhere in range. As thank you, Mr. Observer. We toggle the vision. Can't see much over the river. That's a big headshot to the face. Now rapid fire completed for Cadence, so has that extra little bit of range to play with, at least for some time. Wants to get towards that 3-item mark to be the quintessential Caitlyn 3-item spike. Probably at least 5 minutes away from that one, though. Frolic is
far forward, and he's going to get zapped by the final spark. Does a lot of damage. Yaley, though, helping out with that shield. I feel as if throughout this game, Riot has been so happy just sort of being this face tank on this Sylas, especially ever since that Zhonya's has been built. He has enough confidence that, like, it's okay, I'll take these shots, I'll get out, I'll survive, and the rest of my team can collapse. I don't think I've ever really seen a Sylas played quite this far forward and willing to take all these shots.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of frustrating when... Oh, okay. Just a Miko. It's kind of frustrating when, like, Sylas uses your ulti better than you do. You're a support with something super high value, i.e. the Lux, and he just has way more AP, so... Sork Boots coming through, gets the magic pen, hits you in the face with your own ulti, and Frolic kind of has to flash, he has to walk back to base. Midas trying to get work done on the side lane as much as possible. Given Nightfall has rotated all the way up, has some time to play with, but Baron Vision really is just the name of the game right now. Everybody trading back and forth. UTS had a lot, but Union have wrestled it back. First probably major gold lead off the back end of that last team fight for Union. 3,000-ish. Probably a bit less here for the time being, but 3 items now completed. Of course, when you have a Lucian mid, Farmer goes for the AP, Kai'Sa build goes for the Nashes.
Riot, the target of UTS right there. They're unable to run him down this time around. Speaking of builds, what is your thought on finishing that GA before you use your stopwatch? Because I've heard arguments saying that's like, oh, you're not using your item to your maximum efficiency. Start building your next item, and then after you use the stopwatch, then go back and finish the GA?
Yeah. I think a lot of those sort of like thought processes come down to what kind of game of League of Legends you're playing. And it's not to do with like, how does my comp interact? It's more so like, am I winning the game? Like, do I control the game? Because like then, yes, you can make a decision to be like, I can be like, okay, let's not fight for another 2 minutes before I get my GA and then get that mega value out of the stopwatch incrementally and then the GA. But in a game like this that is reasonably close, they are just contesting and fights could go either way very easily. I expect it's probably much more useful to just get the item completed, because you never want to be in that situation where you blow a stopwatch and then you're like, because you started buying something else, you're like 3,000 gold away from a GA, and it's just like, bruh, I'm useless. I can't get to the back line, I can't do anything.
True.
Definitely a bad time.
Well, the GA was completed by Yaley, which might mean UTS will be a bit more aggressive when contesting objectives. I definitely feel because Yaley is so crucial for the engage out of UTS, this GA is definitely a vital pickup as fades out.
So many times. And doing the Lee Sin is definitely the best outcome, because he's the guy that will never be tied to a lane. He's never going to be answering anything, so seeing the clone run towards you does cause the biggest ruckus here, but we are almost 30 minutes into this one. We've had a bunch of slow games here today. Yeah. Everybody kind of sitting back, maybe pressure. Stakes are a little bit higher as we get into the last, or second last set of the season.
Well, I'm not too surprised to see this one going longer, and I'm also not too surprised to see UQ kind of be adverse to the Baron, because I feel like a lot of their losses have come from bad Baron fights that have lost them the game. But that said, they're looking for the Infernal Drake this time. Nightfaller going straight into the pit. They get the steal, and Yaley will go down as well. The GA has been popped. This Midas trying away. Coling is not able to do much, and the Pop Blossom helps secure the kill onto Farmer. UTS trying to turn around. Midas in that front line, taking a lot of abuse from Lanson. Flashes over the wall, gets that passive proc off the ultimate, but Lanson is still there. Will be able to gun Midas down. And they might look for that tower dive.
They still want the dive. Low HP on the turret, but Nightfaller's in.
Nightfaller's in, and Frolic is the target. He won't be able to escape. Peekaboo on his own, some lonesome. Won't get out as well. That is an ace for UQ.
Yeah, huge team fight once again from Union. Back-to-back victories here, and they may just run it all the way topside towards the Baron. One ping goes to the bottom lane in a turret, but they have their eyes set on the big purple worm, I expect. Only one member dies. Farmer ultis into the backline. Stopwatch buys some time, and unfortunately did get one hit out of that one, but that is the fight they needed. Gold lead has been small. They've been so focused on breaking down turrets, and it has been a game of inches, but okay.
And I like this. They're opting to possibly Death Bush instead. Like, Death Timers have already come back up for Yaley and Cadence as well. They're hoping to possibly catch out this Lee Sin.
Yeah, the problem is that there's a blue orb in the pit that they don't know about. So UTS just straight up know they're not doing Baron right now, and that's why Yaley just gets to sit here. He knows something is up. They watched them walk through mid lane, so he knows they're in topside jungle, but not being in the pit.
Frolic though, what are you doing? You know they're there, but he will still go down. That is the pick UQU wanted, and now they move to the Baron pit.
And the worst part is, the rise of Lux support was the rise of like Luxes running around the maps with Mobies, checking every bush with E. Yep. And he has the vision. He can check the bush, but a little bit greedy there. Doesn't do his due diligence, and unfortunately may have just cost his team the Baron. The team fight wasn't enough. They looked for the pick, and eventually Union able to secure that one.
Yeah, so that is a big Baron secure for UQ Union, who look to have taken this game back from UTS after the great start from the red side. Finally, though, for UQU, they could be looking at their second win. It's not as if both these teams are, you know, not hungry for it. It's been win droughts on both sides, and UQU with the lead, with Baron, looking to set up possibly a base-cracking siege.
Certainly could be it. Nightfaller, I think, landed a 5-man Ornn ulti last fight. If he can replicate, dive is incredibly easy. There's nothing like the Braum shield to stop that one. No Yasuos, no wind walls. Frolic.
Oh, not again, Frolic.
Checks the bush.
Ooh, he checked the bush, but Nightfaller was throwing his abilities the other way, so lucky for Frolic, was not spotted before the abilities were used. Able to get away this time, but dangerous situation in the jungle. I don't know if UTS want to fight in these narrow gaps with the Ornn ultimate available.
Super dangerous. The engage range from Union is incredibly long with the Ornn. They also have the mobility to close those gaps with their carries. Kai'Sa can dash, Sylas can dash, Lucian has an effective range, pretty large with the culling as well. So he's kind of rough to deal with right now. 5 or 4-man stack on the bottom side. Lucian is kind of split pushing in the mid lane, causing another threat. Midas is the one to go answer, but it's going to be the fight they need.
Stealing Ace in the hole and using it immediately. Good block by Yaeli, but this mid lane siege has gotten to the tower, so UTS and Midas to respond. This could be a potential opening. Death Sense does not connect on a Cadence. Peekaboo can't land the Tangle Barb as well. You can see that wall of Yordle traps set right there for Caitlyn, so that will inhibit some, but what just happened in mid lane?
Okay. Oh, dive on the bottom side, though.
Yeah, here comes the Pop Blossom. It doesn't really connect, but the Ornald is able to get into that back line. Yaeli flashes out, but has no health. Peekaboo with the Pop Blossom doesn't really do too much. A double kill for Riot.
And somehow Lansen dying to the mid lane turret is the cue for UQU to look for their fight. Ornalty comes through. A couple of kills go their way. No defense with the Caitlyn off the map, and this could be the end of the game. Union looking to pressure the Nexus.
They're looking to pressure that Nexus. Only 2 members are left standing, and it is 12 seconds till Frolic is up. Here comes the dive. They get Yaeli, and with that as well, Midas should fall, and UQU will be looking at their second win. Down goes the first Nexus tower. Down goes the second Nexus tower, and UQU advance to 2-8. They win!
They do.
GG!
Yep, they do. Nice.
I gotta rep the UQ jersey. GG.
They
finally got one.
We didn't scream GG like the Korean casters. We didn't do it justice.
I can do it right now.
All right, go.
GG! That was. I had to abandon ship halfway through. That was not good.
Fair enough, but yes, they find the fight. They find themselves a victory. Unfortunately, only one more shot at a victory for UTS this season. Been a bit of a roughie so far, but a lot of things going their way, right? Like early was the Caitlyn got themselves ahead, but really it was UQ Union able to hold fast, picked up the victory in the end.
They saved my beard.
Yeah,
the beard is saved. They saved the beard. The jersey isn't an embarrassment because they won, so this was the week I decided. Yeah, this was the week it all works out.
It's all worked out in the end. It's all worked out in the end. Yeah, that was a pretty dominant victory, I guess, from mid game, right? Like early, yes, we saw the comp coming online. But it was super interesting to come into this set and be like, okay, like Riot in the jungle, like gets himself the Sylas. Incredibly good performance. You saw that game, like transitioning from taking like the meta ultis to just being like, okay, give me Caitlyn, give me Lux. At the start of the fight, I'm just going to snipe someone and then we go. And it really did just come online for UQU.
I still am very curious what happened with Lansen in that mid lane. I think that's going to be one of the biggest mysteries.
Yeah, well, Aatrox was on like 2 HP, so it's not like he just ran up and entered to the turret. So he probably just looked for the kill, dove for it, got flashed away, and then died to a turret shot.
Yeah, because it wasn't execution. It wasn't as if it was a kill coming out of Midas. It wasn't execution. But the fact that that's what prompted the game-winning fight.
Yeah. Well, everybody eyes go over, like he's sitting there, like Lucian is diving me, you need to rotate. They have the fast track, they look for a response, but Ornalty comes out, get themselves a team fight. Caitlyn dies. No traps could defend the base, and that is it. Was it another red side victory? No.
No.
First blue side victory
first blue side
of the
victory
goes
day for the UQU team.
Yep, they're able to pick that one. But last game of the day is an actual banger. Mammoth Academy versus Bombers. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in 3 minutes for that.